Here's something nobody really talks about: the luxury SUV sweet spot. That place where you get genuine premium quality without the part where your bank account files a formal complaint. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and every time I run that mental calculation, one car keeps coming back up: the BMW X1. So today, let's settle this once and for all. We're going deep on the 2026 BMW X1. Specifications, exterior design, interior experience, and I'm closing out with my straight-up personal opinion on whether this thing actually deserves your money. Let's go. And hey, if you're new here, pull up a chair. Welcome to Luxury Motor. This is where we talk about cars the way real people talk about cars. No corporate spin, no sugarcoating, just genuine perspective from people who actually care about this stuff. Hit subscribe and join the family. We're building something real here. Alright, X1, let's get into it. Let's talk specs first, because I've learned that with BMW specifically, understanding the powertrain lineup is half the battle. These guys love giving you options, sometimes almost too many options. But once you understand what you're actually looking at, it gets easier to figure out which version is built for your life. The 2026 X1 carries forward BMW's modular powertrain approach. Your entry point into the lineup is the xDrive 23i, running a 2.0-liter four-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine, producing around 204 horsepower and 300 newton-meters of torque. Paired with a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic and BMW's xDrive all-wheel drive system, this thing gets off the line with that characteristic BMW urgency that I've come to genuinely appreciate. It doesn't feel like a budget entry point. It feels like a proper car. What I've noticed is that a lot of buyers overlook the plug-in hybrid variant, the xDrive 30e, and honestly, that's a mistake worth correcting. That setup combines a 1.5-liter three-cylinder turbo petrol engine with an electric motor for a combined system output of around 326 horsepower. Pure electric range sits around 60 to 70 kilometers, depending on conditions, which in my experience covers the majority of daily commuting for most people without ever touching the petrol engine. Then, on longer runs, the full hybrid system kicks in, and you've got the range confidence of a conventional powertrain. Over time, I've learned that the PHEV sweet spot is exactly this kind of setup: enough electric range for daily use with zero compromises on longer journeys. For the fully electric crowd, the iX1 xDrive 30 is the one to watch. Dual electric motors, all-wheel drive, around 313 horsepower combined, and a real-world range sitting comfortably between 270 and 310 miles, 0 to 60 in around 5.6 seconds. I realized when I first drove the iX1 that it completely reframes what a compact luxury SUV can feel like. That immediate torque delivery through an all-wheel drive system in a relatively compact package is genuinely addictive. It moves with a confidence that honestly makes some larger, more expensive SUVs feel heavy and lethargic by comparison. Suspension across the lineup is a sport-tuned setup with optional adaptive dampers on higher trims. I believe the adaptive dampers are worth the spend if your roads are anything less than perfect, because the difference between comfort and sport modes in real-world driving is genuinely significant, not just a marketing toggle. Now, the exterior. I want to talk about this because I feel like the X1's design doesn't always get the respect it deserves in conversation, and from my point of view, that's genuinely unfair to what BMW has achieved here. The 2026 X1 is built on a longer, wider footprint than its predecessor, and that size increase translated directly into more visual presence on the road. The front end leads with BMW's evolved kidney grille, which has been refined to feel less controversial than some of the more extreme interpretations we've seen on larger models. It's bold without being aggressive, prominent without being absurd. The LED headlights have this precise, sharp signature that reads as premium immediately, even to people who couldn't name the car. What I've noticed is how well BMW handled the shoulder line and overall body surfacing on this generation. There's a rising character line that runs from the front wheel arch through the doors with just enough tension in the sheet metal to create depth and movement. The greenhouse is nicely proportioned, visibility is good all around, and the overall silhouette has this planted, confident stance that doesn't look like it's trying too hard. The rear three-quarters view is honestly my favorite angle on the X1. The taillights have this connected graphic that spans the tailgate with clean precision, and the dual exhaust outlets on petrol models add a purposeful, sporty finishing touch. I've grown to see rear-end design as the detail that reveals how seriously a manufacturer takes the overall design vision, and BMW's execution here is tight. Color options in 2026 include some genuinely expressive choices. There's a stunning Brooklyn gray metallic and a deep Phytonic blue that I personally think are the two best ways to spec this car. They catch light in a way that shifts throughout the day and make the body surfacing look dramatically more expensive than it actually is. Stepping inside the X1 is where I genuinely get fired up, because this interior represents something I've come to understand as a real inflection point in BMW's design philosophy. They made a massive leap here. The curved display is the centerpiece, combining a 10.29-inch digital instrument cluster with a 10.7-inch infotainment display flowing together in a single arcing unit. Running BMW's latest iDrive 8 operating system, it's fast, logical, and genuinely intuitive in a way that earlier BMW infotainment systems weren't always known for. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard. The voice assistant actually understands natural language commands without requiring you to speak like a robot, which sounds like a basic expectation, but I've experienced enough systems that fail this test to know it's worth calling out specifically. What I've noticed about the material quality throughout the cabin is that BMW has been strategic and impressive. The dashboard features this panoramic surface treatment that runs the full width of the interior, creating a sense of visual width and spaciousness that the external dimensions don't necessarily suggest. Leather and Sensitech upholstery options feel premium under your hands. The steering wheel is a proper driver's tool with a satisfying weight and grip, and the ambient lighting system with its multiple color zones and intensity settings genuinely transforms the evening driving experience. For me, one of the underrated aspects of the X1 interior is the thoughtfulness of storage and practical space. The floating center console creates this open storage area underneath that swallows bags and personal items cleanly. USB-C ports are well positioned front and rear. The panoramic glass roof option floods the cabin with light in a way that makes an already airy interior feel genuinely expansive. Rear passenger space received a meaningful improvement in this generation. Adults can sit comfortably back there for real distances, not just the polite fiction some compact luxury SUVs try to get away with. The seats slide and recline, rear vents are standard, and the overall environment back there communicates the same quality message as the front. Cargo space comes in around 500 liters with seats up, expanding to around 1,400 liters with them folded. For a compact premium SUV, those are genuinely usable numbers. Driver assistance tech is comprehensive across the lineup. You've got adaptive cruise control with stop-and-go functionality, lane keeping assist with active steering correction, automatic emergency braking with cross-traffic detection, and an excellent surround view camera system that makes parking in tight urban spaces almost stress-free. I believe good driver assistance tech should reduce mental fatigue on familiar routes and genuinely prevent incidents on unfamiliar ones, and the X1 suite does exactly that in real-world conditions. So, here's my honest opinion, and I'm not going to dress this up. Should you buy the 2026 BMW X1? If you're shopping in the compact luxury SUV space, yes, this needs to be on your list. Non-negotiable. What I've experienced with the X1 is a car that understands its brief completely. It's not trying to be a 5 Series in a smaller body. It's not pretending to be something it isn't. It's a compact, premium, genuinely driver-focused SUV that happens to also be practical, well-equipped, and increasingly competitive on value. Looking back at this segment over the last 5 years, I used to think the Audi Q3 and Mercedes GLA had a structural advantage in terms of interior quality and badge cachet in this space. Now, I understand the X1 has genuinely closed that gap and in some areas surpassed them. The iDrive 8 system is better than what either competitor is running right now. The driving dynamics are sharper. The PHEV option is more sophisticated. If I'm pointing someone toward a specific variant, the xDrive 30e PHEV is my personal pick for most buyers. The blend of real-world electric efficiency for daily driving with full powertrain capability for everything else represents the most intelligent way to own this car right now. Bottom line, the 2026 BMW X1 is what happens when a brand takes a segment seriously instead of just cashing in on the badge. It earns the premium it asks for, and that's not something I say lightly. Subscribe to Luxury Motor if you're riding with us on this journey. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one.